Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It was a long break, but our final game of the day for Starladder Season 10 EU Group Stage, Day 27 continues on. We've got VP.Polar. They were NVMI, Team Go Black, now facing off against the old Fnatic, now taking the place of the Fnatic team in the standings, but they're under a new name. 4 Anchors and the Sea Captain. Aye, aye, sir. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Blaze. Blaze, what is your take here coming into this game with this newly formed Finnish team?
Hard to call this early on. Obviously, we've seen some really cool plays from members like Boogie and Matumbo Man. I also have seen JRX play a lot of the past, and he has really impressed me individually in skill. Hasn't had that much success in the competitive scene, but maybe just need a little bit of better synchronization with some nation buddies here. And obviously, they're good friends. Trixie knows them pretty well and should be able to bring a very competitive nature to what we see here. But oh my gosh, God Black, you're doing it to me again. VP.Polar going for Magnus plus Medusa.
All right, just breathe here, Blaze. I know this is very exciting. Your poor heart. Your poor heart. 2 Medusa games in 3 matches today for coverage. I thought this would never be.
Yeah, I thought an hour was enough time to get me down from the hype of the last game, but this one's going to bring me right back up in 2 seconds flat. This is insanely cool. Medusa, obviously, like I said, is a very strong hero in her own right. Like, she has a lot to bring to the table if she's able to get enough farm, if she's not going to be counteracted by things like mobility cooldowns or mana burn mechanics. But getting the setup here from the Magnus on top, the Empower doesn't obviously give cleave to range heroes, but since she already split shot cleaves, the AoE fashion is still there, and on top of that, she's going to get a lot of bonus damage from the fact that she mostly builds agility or base stats, and that's going to be really huge to improving her right click and setting her up with the skewer and RP. So it's really going to be on the Magnus to set things up for Medusa. And if you're actually positioning yourself appropriately against the reverse polarity, Medusa can actually almost guarantee a Stone Gaze. I've actually seen in a pub game Medusa building Blink Dagger in order to set up her Stone Gaze, and the Magnus RP would work very well with that. So I'm not sure if that's what we're going to be seeing, but we have the setup, we have some great ultis to combo together, and we are going to be seeing a lot of damage dished out.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to stop you in your tracks there just to glance at the grid. I know this is very confusing about the new teams, 4 Anchors and Fnatic. And just to clarify once more, the previous Fnatic team, the Hani, Trixie, Boogie, Matumba Man, they were operating under the name Fnatic, and that is the team that is now 4 Anchors. So they are 6th in the overall standings, 7-5, and this Dire team here could actually make a run for the top 4. And it's confusing now because the team name Fnatic has been given to MYM, who no longer exists, and they are now 3-7. Actually, yeah, 3-7. So 3-8 after their first match today that ended very quickly. So it's confusing. Fnatic has changed standings here. It's intentional. The old Fnatic is now 4 Anchors. Hopefully that helps paint the picture for you all at home. I'm not going to apologize. It's not my misdoing, but it is rather confusing nonetheless.
Yeah, but I think that Starladder made the right call as far as who transfers standings where and who gets the wins and losses from before, because it's not about following the franchises. It's about following the players. We've seen Valve set this precedent time and time again, but it really comes down to the majority players from the roster, and when these splits come, the difficult decision is made, but I think they made the right call following the majority of who earned those hard wins. But now we see interesting draft coming through for sure. Ember Spirit and Venomancer, I think, are going to be the core heroes for this one on the side of 4 Anchors and Sea Captain. I'd kind of like to see, I don't know, it's hard to call, but something that can deliver some finishing blows here, because like they have the huge amount of potential damage early on in the fight. The first 6, 7, 8 seconds are going to be dishing out from the Venomancer, dishing out from the Ember Spirit, but they don't have anybody that like finishes it off. So I don't want to say like an Ancient Apparition or a Zeus because it doesn't fit into the lineup, but something that will, you know, be the finisher, or Nature's Prophet or something could work well. But while we want to theorycraft about 4 Anchors and Sea Captain and where they want to bring people, VP.Polar just keep on throwing us some right hooks here. Spirit Breaker drafted up for the Polar.
Definitely. Now, there were some pretty big changes to Spirit Breaker, perhaps worth reiterating once more. Charge of Darkness, significantly lower cooldown, though it doesn't trigger until he actually hits the charge or cancels it. The biggest one, perhaps, is Empowering Haste. It now has a use ability that gives you a 50% increase for 6 seconds, and then when it's on cooldown for 20 seconds, you lose that. It's 50% weaker afterwards. So Spirit Breaker has a nice little sprint for some chasing potential there, and Greater Bash got a decent buff, at least in the early levels. At level 4, it still ends the same way, 40% of movement speed, but that value point early on is so much more potent. Now basically that first point is just as strong as the second point in the previous patch. So Spirit Breaker in an okay place right now, I think. The couple of games I've seen him in the earlier matches of Starladder group stage, he was found successful. So I'm excited to see how VP.Polar utilize him here.
Definitely. I think the Silent Spirit ban is pretty smart here because they are so reliant on following up Spirit Breaker's charge with multiple casts. We do need the Demonic Purge to come out. The reverse polarity is huge. So banning out the Silencer, no matter if that would have forced aggro try or not, it's a smart ban for VP.Polar. But yeah, this Spirit Breaker, I believe, is going to be in the 4 position with the Shadow Demon roaming around. And I can't think of actually a better passive to give the Medusa to set her up for her ultimate. If you get this Empowering Haste and you activate it at the right time when Medusa's trying to make her play happen, that gives her the mobility that she needs to get the stone farm on multiple heroes and to dish out the damage. Medusa's lacking in movement speed. This supplements it very nicely, and I think this combo will work very well. It might not be the same synergy you're looking for with like a hero like a Dazzle, which has the weave that will make her switch out just so painful, but mobility is a very underrated thing for many pub players, but in the competitive scene, it's make or break defining the team fights.
Yeah. And I'm also, I'm just going to turn this overlay off. I just realized the roster for 4 Anchors is completely wrong. Hani is not on this team. He's not Finnish. It's Jerax and Volix now joining Matumba Man, Boogie, and Trixie. But no, you're certainly right here, Blaze. And the 4 Anchors are their sea captain. They'll try to decide what they want to do with this final pick. And you were talking about some sort of a big finisher. It could be a viable option. If this is a core Venomancer, as I would guess it is, good chance he'll go into an Ag Scepter, maybe a little bit of that Veil of Discord action. So somebody like a Zeus that does a lot of AoE magic damage could certainly benefit from the likes of a Veno, soften him up. But no, they'll take a different approach. Instead, they go for the Doombringer.
Yeah, I mean, still getting some fatal damage there with the Doom over time, and if he's able to stay on his targets, it's really good. Scorched Earth and Blink, he's able to maneuver. He's able to survive through the ganks, and Doom, of course, up against the Medusa can be pretty effective as well. So we'll see exactly what route they want to go with it, but I think that doesn't give VP.Polar much cause for concern. They immediately pick up DK Phobos' puck for the offlane. They know that they can do really well until Ancient Seal comes out for him as far as surviving, and of course Godblack, Lil, they're going to be running the gank train all over the map.
Absolutely. So this should be very exciting indeed. Scandal will take the Rhinoceros here towards the mid lane. You mentioned the offlane Fairy Dragon and the position for Spirit Breaker. Go Black going to be having a fun time just cruising around, getting those charges going on, and bashing people with his lantern. That's what the Spirit Breaker's all about.
10 seconds remaining.
Most definitely. So I think the real point of emphasis here are not only getting the Ember Spirit farm, which is kind of a given, but is getting the Doom this Aghanim Scepter. If he can get the Ags up and he can get the Doom out on the Medusa, he can really make it difficult for her. She's going to be purely on the defensive for the entire duration, and he can even extend that duration by staying right on top of her. For those that don't know, it does disable the split shot, as well as things like evasion and potentially crit if she goes for that. So,
is it a straight disable on the split shot, or is it just makes it untoggleable?
No, it is completely takes it off the table.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, very interesting. And also Doom, perhaps important to note, it no longer disables passives anymore. So you need that Aghanim Scepter upgrade if she goes for something, for example, like the Butterfly, as we saw in the last game. He will need that Aghanim Scepter for the Doom to really, really pack that punch. Which, as Hani pointed out in our patch note analysis, that Doom is still a pretty strong hero. It just adds more viability to that Aghanim's build versus some of the more quote-unquote kind of carry Dooms that we've seen rise to popularity.
Yeah. In the early stages of the game, we're just going to see it used on the Magnus to take him out of the fight as long as possible. Maybe the puck as well to prevent any escapes. So expect Scandal and DK Phobos to have to play more cautiously when the Doom is about. But yeah, mid to late game, they need to find some level of control for the Medusa. We saw the Clinks last game go for a Diffusal Blade. Obviously, his searing arrows are no longer in orb effects. That was a good way of trying to burn through her mana pool. Also, we saw Blade Mail to be pretty effective, and Halberd as well, because there was no BKB on the Medusa. But it really comes down to how Illidan builds and how 4 Anchors look to counter it.
Certainly so. Trixie will be able to reconnect here, and we will get into our final game of the day. Ooh, the unusual Dodo. Oh, what a cute courier they've got going on there on the side of VP.Polar. I like it. Let's take a look at these lanes. On the Radiant side, Virtus.Pro.Polar, the Go Black team, previously NVMI. As they were in the brackets, it will be Illidan taking point on the position 1 Medusa. Go Black will be on the position 4 Spirit Breaker, no doubt roaming around, using all that Space Cow rocket fuel to get around the map. Lil will be here on the Shadow Demon in the position 5. That puts Scandal solo mid on Magnus, and oh, he's got a nice fluffy mane there. I'm loving these cosmetics today, Blaze. This is good stuff, but uh-oh, Illidan. There's a smoke rotation. Will they find him? Will they catch him? Medusa, not the fastest hero before she gets boots, but great positioning from Illidan, and this will not be an easy gank. They get pinged out, they see him coming, and that'll be the end of it. Last but not least, it is DK Phobos off lane here with that $1 Million Dream Coil set on the Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, if they had gone for Concussive and Gale there, I think they might have been able to chase her towards the tier 2, but you have to keep in mind that between those 2 spells, there's literally 60 damage flying out. So committing that early to those 2 level 1 skills makes it so that if there was any counter initiation from Polar, that they would have just been completely screwed, overextended, and wouldn't be able to get anything but death from that exchange. So they're just going to back off, get some good wards down, and yeah, it's an aggressive stance from Polar to start, but I feel like Goblak and Lil are just going to be roaming all over the place. It doesn't matter where they start, because they're going to finish wherever they feel they're going to make the most impact, which is usually going to be on the mid lane.
Yeah, certainly so. Dire's side, it will be Trixie headed to the off lane, taking point on the Venomancer. In the mid, that will be Matumba Man here on the Ember Spirit. And up top, it'll be Jerax on the support Skywrath Mage. Volix will take point on the Doombringer. I suppose you could call him the position 1 here, farming away in the safe lane. And that's Boogie now on the Earthshaker. He will be headed towards the mid. And we'll probably do some roaming himself. Charge on a Matumba Man already into the mid lane. No bash yet, of course, as he's only level 1. But Go Black, he takes a fissure, takes a couple of tower shots. But we'll just zone back the Matumba and give Scandal a couple of free last hits.
Yeah, if they do get a good stun where Matumba Man isn't in a reserve position, they can also go for the Skewer to follow it up, and that would put them in a really bad spot. But we're already seeing Goblak make use of this regen rune, as well as a short cooldown on charge, and just going in right on top of Jerax, giving some space for DK Phobos. Actually, potentially a kill. They're going to commit harder for it.
I don't know that they have the damage to finish it off, and DK Phobos will take some return damage. Doom has picked up one of those nice aggressive alpha wolves, so has the pack leader's aura and the critical strike, and gets a couple lucky crits there.
I think they can charge right now and go for the orb afterwards, and Jerax is dead.
Yeah, there you go. There's the charge forward. Orb to follow up. And will they have the damage? First blood's drawn. DK Phobos gets it. It might cost them their Go Black. No, the crit doesn't come out, but the Scorched Earth, almost enough to bring him down. Will use the healing salve. He survives. Now DK Phobos forced to go the other way. He'll salve Tango himself, and it will be a clean 1-0. Fairy Dragon Puck off to one hell of a start.
This new Spirit Breaker is so badass. Before it was like, what, a 35-second cooldown on your charge, or from at the beginning, obviously. It's just completely different hero. You can just spam it. You could be all over the map. It doesn't even cost that much mana, considering his base intelligence and the 4-branch build he went for. And he's going to put pressure on Matumba Man very shortly as well. So already giving Phobos a ton of space on top, and should be able to help Scandal here in this situation.
Yeah, will be an illusion, or pardon me, an invisibility rune up top. Scandal empties out the bottle, fills it up, and we'll see where they go from here. Go Black, obviously very successful with his rotations thus far, and it'll only get that much better once he hits level 2 and grabs that first value point in the Greater Bash. Courier in the mid, delivers the bottle to Matumba Man, still just bottle, stout shield on him. Scandal is having a pretty good time in the mid, but as is Matumba Man. It's a pretty even farm fest. Neither side really able to kill the other unless there's some sort of a gross error or a rotation from the supports. Position 1's pretty even as well. Illidan and the Doom here, played by Volix, are both farming up a storm in their safe lanes and doing okay out of the gate.
Yeah. I think that the Earthshaker should prioritize the TP scroll very early on so that he can actually go for counter gank maneuvers on the Spear Breaker. The only way to stop the charge, other than scaring him off, is going to be to stun him out of it. And usually we see things like Hex type heroes, like the Shadow Shaman and the Lion, picked up to counteract that. But in this case, the only quick disable they have is the Fissure. There's a chance Searing Chains will prevent him, but it's not common. And yeah, in this case, I think that the Earthshaker's counter rotations is going to be defining this early game.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. DK Phobos, obviously the outlier here, giving VP.Polar a bit of an edge with that bonus gold, and soon to be level 5. So that's pretty damn good in the context of the offlane, but I suppose you can't count out Trixie, who's also halfway through level 4. Picked up his boots and his Basilius, and per usual will just be that kind of Broodmother-esque force in the lane. If they ever leave it, rotate out, Trixie will be able to start pressuring that tower and get some lane control. But for now, Lil will rotate back in, keep Illidan safe, and push back the Veno. Boogie making a rotation, looking for this 4-minute rune, but it is VP.Polar that will come out to contest it. Fissure flies through. Rune will be a haste picked up by the Earthshaker. And that means Boogie will be able to not only survive, but maybe turn this around, trying to chase down Scandal. He's already used the skewer, and now they will continue to pursue, getting in position for the body blocks. Boogie doing it right. Smell my ass, as Coddle Guy would say. And that'll be a kill on the solo mid Magnus as 4 heroes rotate from the 4 anchors and their C captain.
That was so close. The rune pickup was the defining aspect there. Obviously, the haste on the Magnus could turn it the other way. But just quick fingers, and you can pick up runes during skewer, but he just didn't find the timing for it, unfortunately, and there was little that Godblack could do. So, holding a reserve for now. He's actually got 1 skill point that he's also reserving. He's going to go for the haste aura. So, if you attack, moving very fast, hitting a little bit harder with the bonus from the greater bash move speed as damage. And yeah, this is going to be very impactful if they find the right openings. For now, though, there's some good ward. There is one really good ward on the bottom rune spawn that has seen Godblack's past 2 rotations, and it is going to make him just kind of relegated to the jungle, stacking and making sure that Magnus and Dusa get off on the right foot.
Yeah, he's already had a pretty decent impact. 2 double stacks here in the jungle, so some decent stuff to retreat to. Illidan still doing pretty decent farm-wise. As is the Doom, now moves into Aquila, brown boots, and will soon be level 6. So everything going kind of according to plan, I suppose you could say, on both sides of the coin. A pretty quiet early game outside of that initial charging from GoBlack. He will charge top this time. Going for the Doombringer, not quite level 6, so this is a good time to try and secure a kill. DK Phobos has found his 6, so a Dream Coil plus this rotation, they might be able to do it. Even a TPN from the Shadow Demon. Oh, Volix, you're in big trouble. The Illusory Orb will fly through. There's the Dream Coil to connect. He's got the Scorched Earth on, but it just won't be enough. And a good rotation from VP.Polar will give them the lead once more, 2-1.
And that's the best time that you can get that kind of a movement. Now Jarek's in a bad spot here. They're not going to be able to. Maybe Searing Chains. Matumbo Man does he see it in time to prevent Jarek from getting stunned out. Now he turns it onto Godblack, but there's the skewer. Scandal's got another shockwave, and somebody's going down for sure. First going to be the Spirit Breaker. Now Jarek's bottling up. Oh, the turnaround.
And now Scandal's in big trouble. He'll use his wand charge. He's trying to head for the hills, but nowhere to go. Just make some space to make sure his Shadow Demon can survive, and it ends up being a 2-0 the other way as VP.Polar get a little hyper-aggressive there, and it will be the Anchors that come out victorious once more. Now Matumba Man finds his level 7. Will have his poor man's shield, and it looks like an Aquila will be... no, oh, pardon me. Those will be drums coming out soon as he has the gauntlets and the circlet.
So Godblack's going to be moving in towards Earnest Shadows. He really wants to build kill momentum, but not really finding the openings just yet. Every time he's committed in the past few minutes, they've been there to respond. They've got the damage in turn, and it's not often that you see a Skywrath actually go for a bottle, but it really saved his neck in that last exchange. So Jarek's picking up a worthy item that gave him enough in-combat regeneration to keep baiting the Spirit Breaker further and further in. He just charges like a bull, and sometimes you can't turn back.
Yeah, definitely so. Trixie's now found his level 7, picked up early Arcane Boots. No points in the Venomous Gale, just going all in with the Plague Wards and now getting some extra points in the Poison Sting, so they do a little bit of extra damage over time. And just being an overall nuisance in this bottom lane, that will prompt Medusa to pick up an early magic wand to try and grab some extra sustainability and just rack up those free charges. Always a good item to have against a warding Venomancer. Spirit Breaker now level 4 will move into an Urn, and I think just a classic tried and true item on the Spirit Breaker helps him with that mana regen, gives him a little bit of strength, and he tends to be a hero that's in the vicinity of a lot of kills. So with the recent buffs to Urn, I think smart choice from GoBlack.
Definitely. It's not often we get to talk about the offlane Venomancer here, but it is a very strong idea in its own right. It can counter push, it can hold the defense, and if you just get 1 point in Gale eventually, then you're going to be able to prevent yourself from being dived on pretty well. But in this case, he is having some difficulty against Medusa because of the mana drain aspect of this Mystic Snake. Whenever the spell is cast, obviously, like you mentioned, the magic wand is rejuvenating the Medusa, but she's using Mystic Snake pretty much whenever she can against Trixie very effectively, and he's had to go for both the Arcane Boots as well as Basilius just to keep spamming up these Plague Wards.
Yeah, Medusa's really having a good time here. 56 and 10, the last hit leader, and actually now even out-farming the Doom. That kill they had on Volix did slow him down a fair bit. Is down bottom, Trixie in trouble, and charge was coming, but they didn't even need it. Caught the tail end of that one as Puck comes in, drops the hammer, and Illidan secures a kill. Oh, meanwhile, bottom room, Go Black gets caught up by Matumba Man, and Boogie is there to connect with the fissure. Ward does go down from the Spirit Breaker before he gets taken out, so it wasn't for nothing, but still a nice kill there for the Dire side.
One little mistake that Illidan did make here is that he kept his mana shield on when the Venomancer's ulti was ticking, and now he doesn't have mana enough for one spell, so he's not going to be able to hold in the lane that much longer. He did salve up, but it overhealed about 200, 300 HP, so in the end, it's just the fact that he won't be able to do much more than just the ultimate in a bad situation and only one Mystic Snake in a good one. So, and other than that, they're doing pretty well throughout this laning stage. They don't, although the Spirit Breaker wants kills to happen, they don't need them to happen to transition into a successful mid game. The Medusas got their back for that one, as well as Scandal building up towards that Blink Dagger. And with this big Western Radiant stack that he's eyeing right now, should be pretty easy for him to build that up quickly.
Yeah, it's a double tomato potato set, a Centaur, and a Wild Wing. So it's a 4 stack. He'll try to make it a 5 stack, and this is when things get a little tricky. We'll see if Scandal's got the skills to pay the bills. Come on, Scandal, you can do it. I believe in you. And well done. It'll be a 5 stack now. He'll just shockwave it down, has his Arcane Boots up, and this is going to be a huge boost to farm for this Magnus, who's well on his way to a Blink Dagger. Speaking of farming tools, though, Doom will go into a Hand of Midas here at the 10-minute mark following his Treads and Orb of Venom. So finding himself a nice bit, a good farming tool there. I think warranted. They want to make sure they have some sort of a late-game tool to deal with this Medusa. Not a lot of pushing power on the Dire side, so it stands to reason this will be a longer game, and they want to make sure that Medusa doesn't just overrun them once we hit that 30-minute mark.
We're going to see a nice flank movement, but DK Phobos going to route it all out. Still not in time. He's going to get the Stone Gaze off.
Now Matumba Man in the front lines at the tower, getting slowed up by the gaze, and incoming the charge. The RP not going to do a hell of a lot, but the Dream Coil's there. DK Phobos on the other side of the fight. Defensive Dream Coil comes out. Mystic Flare will fly through. Also, it's a 4-hero rotation from the Anchors, but will they be able to find a kill? Finally, Go Black joining the party. He's not yet level 6. Will get caught inside of the chains. They lose their Puck, but down goes the Venomancer. Lil will also fall as Boogie able to bring him down and finish him off. Go Black will take a lot of damage here, but once Jerax will find the pure damage charge to make sure he goes down, and it is VP.Polar that are coming out okay in the end. Oh, Matumba Man gets a cleanup kill as the Spirit Breaker tries to TP home. While all that was happening, Doom pressured a tier 1 tower up top, was able to finish it off, and at the end of the day, it is the Anchors that come out ahead.
Yeah, without the Doom committing to that, them winning that full-on engagement was huge. Of course, it was based on the fact that Scandal missed that clutch RP, and that turned the fight completely against them. The Venom ulti did a lot of damage there, and yeah, although they didn't have many finishing tools, right now the Poison Sting is enough damage to tick a lot down low. Godblack didn't even use his Urn in that, so he definitely got finished off by Matumba Man there at the tail end of it, and yeah, not much more to say. Right now they're taking a huge lead. They need to keep this momentum to make sure the Medusa is locked down, but that Blink Dagger coming out for Scandal in, I would like to say 400, but obviously they nerfed the gold cost of the Blink Dagger, so about 500 gold for him, and he will have that impeccable counter-initiation tool.
Yeah, down bottom, Go Black charges onto Trixie, TP in from Scandal, but there's a fissure from Boogie to try to break it up. Negative Urn will be enough to bring down the Venomancer as Magnus skewers forward. Jerax will push him back with a concussive and a silence, but Matumba Man goes on to Illidan. The Stone Gaze comes out, as does the Mystic Flare. Positive Urn from Go Black will keep Illidan alive, but it will cost him his life. And once more, the Anchor's in good shape here. It's a huge rotation, but so far they're coming out ahead. Doom onto Scandal. He'll move around in the trees, make some spaces. DK Phobos TP's in. Dream Coil on 2. Scandal will survive the duration of the Doom if he doesn't take any more damage. Glyph comes out on the tower as the Anchors go to finish it off. Doom will look for the last hit, but gets taken down. Scandal skewers forward, has an RP, brings Boogie back around the other side. Again, costs him his life, but will secure the kill onto the Earth Shaker. And VP.Polar deny the tower, and this time they get a slightly better trade out of it. But I guess the tower deny is really that icing on the cake that helps them out that much more.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the deny, then it would be a bit of a wash as far as who took that fight. But for now, they just got to wait it out without their ultis available on the Magnus. Most importantly, they just are happy to take any semblance of an even exchange. So they will just have to go mana up and prepare for another movement. It's going to be 4 distract from 1 from this point forward. Illidan needs to farm his jungle, farm his safe lane, while VP.Polar move across the map as 3 or 4. The problem is with this aggressive Dire Ward that we have recently seen placed out, there's going to be a lot of potential initiation on the Medusa with just Smoke of Deceit. So we're going to see Smoke already come out from Boogie and Jerax, and they're going to make their way to that bottom lane.
Yeah, this is the ward you're referencing here. As the rotation is commencing, they may go for Goblack in the mid. He's now found his level 7, so has that Nether Strike available. And needs to be careful. He's getting stalked out by Matumba. In comes Jerax. The smoke will break. Ward comes down. Now let's take a look at the Dire Vision, see what they're up to. Plague Ward's flying around. And we'll give them a little bit of vision inside the tree line as they look to take out the last remaining Tier 1 tower for VP.Polar. It's already 2-1 in tower count. And here you go, Magnus. He finds the Blink Dagger, and this is always the big one as you talked about it. The great counter initiation tool, and we'll see if he can put it to good use.
Yeah, still need to delay a little bit more, 20 seconds or so for that RP, but they have this Radiant Observer where they saw the smoke break, and they know to play cautiously from this point forward. So we'll see the positioning. Boogie still really wants to find an opening here. They're going to go on Lil.
Yeah, they'll find him. Defensive disruption will keep him alive through the Mystic Flare. Now the charge onto Matumba Man. Goblack in the front lines. Will take a silence. Now the follow-up damage is Trixie. Drops the Poison Nova. DK Phobos comes in. Coil on 1. It's only Jerax. And Matumba Man off to the side will be able to escape. The Skywrath and Veno won't be so lucky. It's a 2-0 as VP.Polar take the fight at the beginning of it. The rest of the anchors on the defensive, but Goblack, he's not done yet. He'll charge forward, goes on to Boogie. Illidan is still there, laying in the right clicks. It's a double kill now for the Medusa. Volix comes in, has the ultimate available, but no mana. A beautiful RP from Scandal, locks him in place. Down goes the Doom. Matumba Man in trouble. He will be able to hop to his Fire Remnant across the map, but the anchors falling apart, sinking towards the bottom of the ocean. Goblack, he's going to charge. It's not over yet. Matumba Man's low on HP, and this will be the end of him.
Oh, wow. What a huge fight for VP.Polar. You see, as soon as that blink comes out of the Magnus, they're a whole other team, but it actually was 4 anchors that kind of overextended, though. They went for the kill pick-off on the Shadow Demon, but he got the disruption off before the Fisher. Now Trixie going down the mid lane, just a couple of easy right-clicks after the spells from Phobos come through. Fisher not going to be able to really make up for their losses, and 4 anchors just lost complete control of this game. Another great team fight tool that VP.Polar have in their arsenal is the combination of Dream Coil and Stone Gaze. If the Stone Gaze pops and 2 or 3 people are coiled, they have no choice but to just look away and stand there. They can't run because of the coil. They can't fight because of the gaze, and in the end, it's just they're turned into pacifists that VP.Polar can absolutely exploit with their high damage nukes.
And then while they're standing there trying to figure out what the hell to do, Scandal's lining up the main RP in the backside and just looking to drop the hammer. So this is really great news for the Radiant side. The Graph will take a huge swing in their favor. Now about 3,000 gold, 5,000 experience, and they don't have a single tower kill yet. Medusa's about to get the first one right now, but that's really going to further their gold lead as, Scandal hops forward, skewers back onto the Earthshaker, and they secure an easy kill right there as they bring down the tower, and this Graph is going to jump even more in their favor.
Just really good swing forward for them. They're going to be able to build up the durability that they need in their team lineup, whether it be actually through the traditional tools against Venomancer like Pipe and Mech, or if they just build up raw HP since they don't have a great carrier of either of those items right now. No matter the case, Polar are in a commanding position, taking control of their side of the map. These Dire Observer wards, usually you talk about it and you're like, okay, well, now they can go and invade on their terms. No, they cannot invade Polar's territory at this point in time. They can see charges like the one we saw from Goblack coming, but they're purely on the defensive from this point forward.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker now level 9. DK Phobos finds himself the Blink Dagger, as we've already seen. So great news across the board on that front. Medusa doing a very similar build to what we saw last game. This time opting for Phase Boots, but going into the Yasha and then now into the Lincoln Sphere. So this is becoming the trend that value Yasha, the farming tool that pays for itself with all that extra damage and movement speed. Then we'll tank up. Mid lane, we'll see Trixie jumped on once more. He'll survive the initial onslaught, does manage to get off the ultimate. Will go down as Goblack comes in to finish him off. It'll cost them their Puck's life as Matumba Man hops forward, but the Stone Gaze once more. Matumba Man will go down, tries to Fire Remnant out, but won't be enough RP's already been used, but Jerax getting chased down, sipping up that bottle. Skewer forward from Scandal. Won't connect onto Jerax, but does get off the shockwave. Boogie with the dunk. Will buy some space for Jerax, but Illidan wants it, and he'll find it. Magnus does go down as Doom comes around the backside. Will maybe get a crit onto Lil. That would have been a kill. Lil just playing ring around the rosy and buying himself a lot of time here. Will he be able to live in the end? Oh, no. Won't be able to get it off when it's all said and done. Illidan trying to decide the right movement here, going blow for blow with Boogie, but will be forced back as Volix blinks over the tree line, and this time VP.Polar will bite off perhaps a bit more than they could chew.
Yeah, not a convincing win either side, though. The deny comes out from the puck here, and he's actually going to go for Trixie with Goblak's help.
Yeah, denies the tower, and there's a charge forward. They might still be able to get Trixie. Illidan's chasing him down. We'll soften him up so that the Spirit Breaker can finish him off. He gets pinged out, but what can you do? Oh, the steering chains, that'll stop him dead in his tracks. Huge plays from Matumba Man as Boogie comes in to finish him off with a fissure. That's one good way to deal with the Spirit Breaker.
Oh, the Courier's following the invis puck, makes its delivery, but barely makes it out of there. Now they are actually... Oh, Phobos, he cancels Jerax's TP. He's going to go for a solo kill out of the invis rood. No farming for you, but it comes at the cost of the Fairy Dragon's life.
Yeah, he gets the solo kill. It's split around the heroes. I think it's okay. Maybe not great. I guess you could call it a wash.
Yeah, if you had a chance of escaping, then it would have been a good move, but the fact that he was pretty much guaranteed to fall from our bird's eye view, it definitely favors 4 Anchors. Actually, they got 500 gold on Ember Spirit from that, as well as 220 from the Doom. Yeah. That does count the death of the Spirit Breaker as well.
Oh, yeah, that rubber band. Yeah, about that. So things leveling out a little bit more, and the 4 Anchors will find some recovery. Just glancing at general item progression, there is now a Lincoln's up on the Medusa, so now she's starting to really come online. She's been very active already. 6-0-6 in the first 20 minutes of gameplay. That's about as active as you can hope for a Medusa to be. Now level 16, one of the highest in the game, tied with the Doom, who of course has a Hand of Midas, so you would expect him to be pretty close to the top.
And it does come back to that Hand of Midas a little bit. Like, he's building up gold with Devour, but by going for the Midas, he definitely limited his potential in the early game. Oh, Lil.
Oh, Jerax, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they'll find a freebie down there. The Courier does have most of an Aghanim Scepter for the Doom, though. Just missing the point booster, so he's about 400 gold away from that big, scary pickup.
Yeah. And that's the timing they need, I suppose. They need the Ember Spirit to get a little bit more, too. He is... moving towards that Battle Fury very gradually, but once he has it, they'll be in a much more comfortable position than they were previously. The problem is, by that point, DK Phobos will have his next utility pickup. Sometimes you look at it and say that's probably a Yule's or a Force. It might actually be an Aghanim, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, they'll get a free kill on Trixie down bottom as they smoke up and use Go Black to initiate. Yeah, how do you feel about the Aghanims on Puck right now? Obviously, it's very good against BKB heroes. I think that kind of goes without saying. There are no BKBs coming out quite yet. Doom is probably the most obvious of them, but not a big BKB team. Do you think it still has a lot of value without that?
I think that as long as you have a way to force the coil to break intentionally, like a Vengeful Spirit, or in this case a Magnus, then it's actually a very high power disable. You get the Magnus Skewer on anybody who's Dream Coiled, that's a 4.5 second stun. Absolutely insane numbers, and they can put the RP on top of that afterwards. So with or without BKBs, I think that the combo there is legit, and Magnus, one good Skewer could just completely redefine the team fight.
Okay, yeah, I like that synergy you're talking about. And speaking of the Magnus, he'll go for the BKB, so a 10-second charge of Magic Immunity. Coming up the next fight, Doombringer down bottom. He'll get charged out by Go Black. He doesn't see it coming. The rotation of the Magnus and the Shadow Demon, both of their ultimates at the ready. Aghanim Scepter is online, but will it be enough to save the Doom? They actually cancel the charge as they see support is inbound. They've got this nice little ward down, and Doom will be okay.
Yep, so they're just kind of creating time and space for Illidan to farm on the top lane, push down the tower, and as long as they keep them distracted, that's what they want to do. They want to hold position. They don't want to force an issue. We do see Matumba Man here will be spotted by the puck, but again, they're waiting for the advantageous opening. There's the silence.
And now the charge coming in. Nether Strike, Dream Coil. Will they have the damage to bring him down? Nope, he'll scoot back to safety. And charging up that Nether Strike, I think, that long cast point, just... well, a bit too long. Don't worry, though. While that was happening, Medusa did finish off the Tier 1 tower top. So still a good trade for Virtus.Pro, just kind of in general, as they get a little more gold under their belt. Still 1 tower behind, but closing that gap and maintaining a pretty decent net worth lead.
So they're going to go for the Yules on the puck here. It's really good for just taking a hero out of the fight very quickly, as well as surviving through the Skywrath combo. You see Skywrath drop the Ancient Seal, concussive on you. You know the Ancient Seal is coming, and you can pretty much negate all of the damage from it by putting the Yule Scepter on yourself. So a great survivability tool, and one they're definitely going to need if the Skywrath starts finding openings. But so far, Jarex, he's been moving constantly with Boogie. He's been moving constantly with his teammates, and honestly hasn't really made that much of an impact. Like, he's got maybe the highest kill and assist count for his entire team, but it's just not enough when VP.Polar keep on farming better across the entire map.
Yeah. Now, I have a mechanics question for you. The Doom interaction with Mana Shield. Does the Aghanim Scepter change anything there?
Not at all. Just the damage will... I think the damage will still be mitigated 60%, and the Mana Shield will still stay intact for all other sources of damage.
Okay, but it is no longer toggleable once you're silenced via Doom,
correct?
Okay. But it doesn't disable it like Split Shot does.
Correct.
Or like it does to Split Shot, rather. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought, but just making sure there. So we'll see it charge down onto Trixie, and Go Black will cancel it as he sees a TP coming in, and with that, Virtus.Pro will push into this bottom tier 1 tower. Just 1 hit to bring it down, and Illidan will get back-to-back tower kills as Puck goes forward, whiffs the Dream Coil. That stings a little bit. Doom throws the ultimate out onto Phobos, but Scandal is able to finish down the Venomancer, uses his BKB. They'll start to mount the escape. Maybe they'll go back in here. Scandal wanted to leave, comes back for the RP. Now Illidan's here, has the Stone Gaze online. That Split Shot just laying into him. Bollock's on the run. They've already lost Boogie. They'll finally finish off the Doom. Matumba Man will hop to a Fire Remnant. That will ensure his survival, but Virtus.Pro coming out way ahead. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Go Black gets a solo kill onto the Skywrath. So it's a 1 for 4 across the map. They get a tier 1 tower and maybe even a tier 2 out of this. Double damage on Scandal. Glyph has already been used. This is a huge momentum swing for VP. Now the Medusa 7-0-8.
They can't go for solo plays. They can't go for 5v5. Like, the only way they get kills is like a 2 versus 1, 3 versus 1 type play. And even then, it's unpredictable with a lot of these heroes having great escapes. So the biggest issue in that fight was that Jarex didn't have a TP for the bottom lane. He had the item, but not the cooldown. I guess he TP'd to the mid lane or something. But no matter the case, he makes his way to the top, only to feed his life away. And from here on out, for Anchors, they don't really have a winning game plan other than more farm on Matumba. He needs to move in towards some major late game items, maybe an Abyssal Blade long term, but Daedalus Crit is going to be the high ground defense measure for the moment. And of course, we do know how great Doom can be in the late game, has his Aghanims up, but he's going to make his way towards a Shiva's Guard for the next item.
Yeah, and this is part of the problems with the Aghanim's Doom is it's very useful, but Doom can't really solo carry with this as a first item. It's great when Doom is going for the right clicks and he's kind of that position 1 and then is like a 4th, 5th slot luxury item in the last patch. That's when it becomes really potent. Then you move into a Refresher and you take 2 heroes out of the game. But now, as we saw in that last fight, he threw out a Doom on the Puck, but the follow-up was there for Virtus.Pro and it just wasn't for the Dire side. I guess if you can use it on top of the ultimate from Trixie, then that's a slightly different story. You can get a DOT type kill. But even Trixie going a more defensive mechanism for 26 minutes in, and he's just now approaching the recipe gold. He'll find it as he finishes off this creep wave, but this has been a long gap where a mech could have changed the status of these team fights a bit. And I don't know, I feel like Trixie's impact has just been lackluster. He's only he's 1-8. Ouch.
Yeah, it's not the build-up you want from a core Venomancer. Even in the off lane, he still had an okay laning phase. What it came down to was after the laning phase started breaking down and the charges started hitting him. Trixie feed was real, and the mechanism has been delayed to the point that it's almost a support Venomancer timing. So very unfortunate. He has the mana to sustain it now with Aquila and Arcanes, but I don't really know if it'll change the way these fights play out. If a couple of ultis connect from the side of Polar, those heroes are going to die no matter if they have that extra HP boost or not. Yeah,
definitely. Now in the top lane, Virtus.Pro will go up to the tier 2 tower. Medusa will just click it down. Now moving into the Butterfly, has the Eagle Song up already, so his farm continuing to impress, about 5,000 up on the Doom. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we'll see the Anchors and their captain move into the tier 2 tower. And Virtus.Pro could mount the defense. They have a Glyph at the ready. And no, they don't seem interested. They'll just let Doom grab the last hit. It will be a tower for tower exchange, and both teams will back up. Now a Halberd comes out onto the Spirit Breaker. That'll be Go Black's first real core item following the Urn of Shadows, and I think very warranted here against the Doom.
Yeah, it's great against the
Dyer's
Ember
top
Spirit too.
tower is
You can't
under
hit with the
attack.
sleight of fist damage while you're disarmed. So
Yeah.
just completely negates his presence for
No
a significant
BKBs,
portion of the fight.
so all the better.
Yeah, and evasion never hurts, but it definitely does come down to the fact that 4 anchors can't even really afford to go for BKBs if they wanted them, and we're not going to be seeing them for another 10 minutes at least.
Yeah, definitely. Illidan down bottom may get jumped on. No, it's the anchors that are scared, and they'll just TP home. They see a Medusa, and right now their motto is run. Don't look at her.
So much fear in their eyes. They've seen the Heart of Darkness, and they do not want to go back into the frying pan.
Yeah, but now a gem has been picked up on Lil on the Shadow Demon, so some map control will undoubtedly go the way of Polar. They will smoke up outside of the Roche pit and make a rotation. And I thought perhaps they'd be considering Roche, but now they move up to the high ground. Oh, they might find a Doombringer, and if he gets caught out, that could be bad news bears for the anchors. Instead, they will just back out. DK Phobos is not smoked up, and this ward will reveal his positioning. They'll take out the ward, which mysteriously died to an invisible unit, so I think the anchors can infer that a smoke rotation has taken place, and they will position themselves accordingly.
So, I mean, just right now it's going to be a farming game from both sides for a little bit here until we see the 5-man movement down the mid lane. Polar have the 5-man advantage. They know it. And if you look at 4 anchors lineup, they don't really have that much as far as split push goes. It's not like they're going to be worried about a Clinks taking their racks while they push to tier 2. It's going to be 4 anchors that are forced to respond to a fight that they're not comfortable with. So whenever Polar are confident, I presume when Illidan finishes the butterfly, that's when they're just going to move in, and there's very limited potential for 4 anchors to take the fight on those terms.
Yeah, the only tool they have now that could tip the scales a bit is the Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. Boogie was able to pick up that counter initiation tool. He's also level 11, so Echo Slam a bit more potent. I think that will help, but we're at that point where it's not going to be enough damage just to completely turn the team fight around unless VP.Polar do something really silly. Having the Manta does up that potential. Of course, the illusions do count as heroes in the context of the Echoes, so there is some potential there. We'll see double rotations. One on the Trixie, he'll TP out, but oh, Illidan. It may be a Medusa sandwich. She'll be able to pick up her butterfly before she goes down, uses the Stone Gaze. But just look at how tanky he is. He's just going to Stone Gaze and turn. He'll bring down Jerax, and, well, that'll end his monster kill streak. So a big swing of gold will go the way of 4 anchors. But that just shows the Medusa power right there. Yeah. That was a 4-on-1 and still able to take one down with him.
Yeah, with the Doom. The Doom disabling the evasion, making it so Medusa shouldn't be able to do anything but just plink away, taking down the low armor Skywrath. We'll mention that did net them 1,700 gold positive for their team. That was such a huge kill, nevertheless. The net worth in this hero is very high. Obviously, they're very far behind, so Earthshaker getting the kill streak ends up with 1160 gold richer, and he's going to pick up a gem off the back of that. So not only with that fresh Blink Dagger, but now the gem to get them some map control, as they desperately need.
Yeah, now Shivas will come out for the Doom, so that'll be completed, and it will be the anchors that move into the Roche pit. With Medusa dead, they'll feel a little bit more safe doing it. Buyback is actually available for the Medusa, but I don't know that they'll want to burn it to try to contest the Roche here. This isn't a very fast Roche either, and there is maybe a sliver of hope. No, they won't even go for it. It looks like Aegis of the Immortal will go the way of the Dire, but is that enough to really get them back in this game here, Blaze? That's the real question.
I don't know. I feel like 4 anchors lineup is strong in general. Like, it's a good overall, well-rounded lineup that has a lot of potential at all stages of the game, but not against Polar's team. It's not specifically to counteract anything that Polar are bringing. It's just a good lineup on their own side. It seems like they drafted for their half and didn't really think about what the enemy was bringing, because, like, Ember and Earthshaker are great against Zeus strats. They're great against a massive summons from heroes like Nature's Prophet and Enigma and stuff. They can cleave those down, they can Echo Slam those down, they can turtle and hold. But against this team that has so much late game scalability with heroes like Magnus and Medusa, they just don't have an answer other than like the perfect Ancient Seal on Magnus. But he's got the BKB now, he's working on his Refresher Orb. I mean, it's not just the insanely farm Medusa they have to worry about, it's the Magnus who has pretty much everything he could want.
Up top, Trixie will get initiated on. The charge is flying through, but it will get canceled as Puck does burn the Dream Coil on just the solo Venno. And now it looks like Pro will just back out and be a little bit more passive till that big cooldown refreshes.
Crit coming out from Matumba Man. He's really going to have to make things happen with those sleight of fists in the middle of the fight. But if Polar don't essentially get the Doom onto It seems like they need the refresher orb now, like before he even starts building it. Like they need to be able to take both Medusa and Magnus out of the fight in order for them to actually have a chance at winning a full-on engagement. Till then, they need to go just 3 versus 1 play, use a vision advantage from their geometry site to find their opening and just keep picking off until they get to the farm state of the Doom. That Midas is really kicking in at this stage, as well as the Devourer, but they need to keep things moving that way because right now they're just not strong enough.
Yeah, he is closing the gap. Medusa was about 6,000 gold ahead of him, and now it's only a 3,000 lead. So all things equal, it is the Anchors who are furthering their farm, but the scary part is Medusa's already hit that critical mass, and she just does a lot more AoE damage than Doom. Like, sure, he can Doom Medusa, and that'll kind of shut her down a bit, but there's still a lot of other follow-up damage now that is quite scary between the Puck, who is looking for a Scythe of Vice, I would imagine, with that ultimate orb, and this Magnus. He'll soon have a refresher. The Oblivion Staff is already up 1,600 gold in the bank, means he's essentially at the Perseverance, so about a recipe and some change away, and we'll see that double RP coming out, which is... I think needless to say, always scary.
Most definitely. This guy has everything you could ask for. Blink, Force, BKB. When the refresher comes out, his only item progression is like a BOTs and then maybe an Assault Cross to help the Dusa. Like, he's in such a good spot right now. Doesn't really need anything else, and there's a refresh orb in full.
He had, oh wow, he had the Perseverance on the courier that whole time. I'm sorry, that's my bad. Wow. Now things are a lot scarier than I thought. This Scandal is super farmed.
Like, if the Doom had a refresher right now, I would see hope. But as it is, if they just move as 5 and they don't lose Scandal immediately, then they should be able to win any fight. And there's, again, no split push. And no towers to really split push, too. The waves are pushed out. They have all their tier 1s gone, so anybody that's going to be starting to commit to, like, a tier 2 mid tower is going to have to TP by the time that VP.Polar hit the base. So, yeah. One pick off, and that's going to be the tipping point for 4 Anchors. They're not going to be able to turtle against this much longer.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And we'll see Virtus.Pro.Polar group up, move its 4 towards the top lane. They're only missing their Spirit Breaker, but that's almost intentional. They want Go Black sitting back so he can charge in and make it happen. Halberd and probably a BKB coming out next for the Spirit Breaker. Medusa moving into what's most likely to be a Scotty. Has the point booster now and 4,000 gold, so really not that far away. We're at that point of the game where Illidan may want to be pooling for buyback before he finishes off that big item, but picks up the nice value piece there in the point booster and gets himself some extra health and mana as they clear out the Ancients once more, and that'll push him to 4,400 gold. It's VP.Polar that will rotate down towards the bottom as the Anchors are now starting to look a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I think he's actually just going to buy it outright. He's very confident in his state of affairs right now. If he gets picked off with 3 people behind him, then there's something much more wrong with the game than him having buyback or not. So right now he's going to bring the Orb of Venom away from the Secret Shop via the Courier, and he'll have to make the decision once it gets back if he wants to go all in for the Scotty. But I don't honestly think there's that much risk involved in picking up the Scotty right now. Like, usually say carry, level 22 carry without buyback is a really bad thing, but 4 Anchors, any fight that they take is going to be inside their own base. It's going to be on the purely defensive, and they just won't have enough time to turn and take down the enemy towers, but if they even did win a fight.
That's a fair point. But Volix is getting pretty close to his refresher. He's about to hit 5,000 gold, so he's pulling up pretty effectively. And there's your data list on the Ember Spirit. So these 2 scary items that we've talked about that will give the Anchors a better chance at making a hold are coming online. Roche coming up somewhat soon. I think based on that time, that means it'll be a very fast timer once we get past this initial part, as the Scotty is completed. So it looks like they will take heed to your advice, and Illidan's already back up to 1,200 gold. So even just going straight for the Scotty, he's almost at buyback anyhow.
Yeah. So Vision has become a stalemate with both sides having a geometry site. So right now it's just kind of group farming. Everybody kind of sticking together, using the buddy system and trying to avoid getting picked off. But now they say, okay, well, if we're just following behind the Medusa anyways, we might as well go ahead and start taking towers. So 450 gold away from the Medusa. Just buyback. Maybe she wants to claim 1 or 2 more camps, but after that, just go in, go straight down mid, and that's going to force the hand of 4 Anchors. They do have, as you mentioned, that refresher coming very... Actually, no, he goes for BKB. What do you think about that?
I'm really surprised. I think the refresher is almost
How do you win without it?
Better being able to lock down the Medusa and the Magnus. Like if you can get a Doom initiation onto the Magnus before you can RP, refresh, get the next one on the Dusa, and just stop the split shot from coming out. I mean, that's like the core of their team fight right there. That's the comeback mechanism I see for the Anchors. The BKB is the quote-unquote safe choice. Like sure, Volix might survive a little bit longer, but is that really going to be what turns the fight around? Refresher is an item that can actually like win games on Doom. I don't like this one, Blaze. I'm going to go ahead and just be bold with it.
No, I 100% agree with you. This is like, if he doesn't have time to farm up another item by the time he needs it, like if VP.Polar forced the issue, then it could be a game-breaking misplay and misdecision by Volix here. But at least for the moment, he still has time to farm. The BKB might prevent something like a Hex that could be coming soon. Now, I'm trying to justify it, but really, up against a double RP Magnus, there's no justification. That is the wrong choice, and it may cost them dearly.
Yeah. RP and Medusa, I mean, there's like a lot that goes through the BKB also. Even the like, Demonic Purge goes through the BKB. You know, if you look at all these ultimates, they're all spell piercing except the Puck ultimate. So, pardon me, immunity piercing. So, this is interesting. I'm very curious how this will end up working out. Medusa is just so big at this point, though. 3,100 gold, more than enough for buyback, and Illidan will start looking towards his next item. Probably BOTs, just to free up that inventory slot, and then move towards maybe an Aegis, as next Roche should be up pretty soon, or looking at that next big item pickup. What do you think is that final slot for the Medusa, though? What's the ideal sixth luxury item?
Rapier all day, man. BOTs, Rapier.
Yeah.
No reason not to. It's one thing that they just can't negate without, like, Heaven's Halberd at least, or, yeah, they don't have anything to stop Rapier damage. So they also don't even have that much positive armor. Like, Doom sold his Basilius, nobody built up Vlad's. They have an Aquila for +2 armor, and that's it. Like, JRX right now has literally 2 armor, 4 next to the Veno. So there's the Sacred Relic. Rapier is going to be coming out, and oh boy, this is going to be a tough one.
You are absolutely right. Good call, my friend. As the Assault Kuros, this is when you need like an AC Vlad's just to try and help mitigate some of the damage. But like this Skywrath, he already got cut down in that last fight. And now it's just going to be that much.
Okay, he does buy the Ghost Scepter, so that helps a little bit. But the fight lasts certainly a lot longer than the 4 seconds of the Ethereal Effect provides.
Yeah, definitely right. And there's still a bit of magic damage you got to be careful of. Puck and Magnus do a fair bit of magic damage, so if he gets Pucks there to blast him down, you're not safe. The Ghost Scepter is by no means the end-all be-all here, but Roche is up, and that's what the Anchors are interested in. They will smoke into it. Radiant Vision, they'll see Trixie. It gets pinged out, and they're suspicious. They will start moving towards the pit. It won't be the fastest Roche. They don't have any minus armor. And VP.Polar, I don't know if they'll be able to get here in time. It doesn't look like it.
No, Matoma Man still right-clicks pretty hard right now. A couple of good crits, and he's going to be able to bring down Roche. There is no contest from Polar, but they don't need to take risks right now. They can fight 5v6. They can fight against the Aegis and still feel relatively confident. It's got to be 4 Anchors to essentially take a hero out of the fight immediately, or they're going to be in some trouble no matter how farmed they can get. But one thing to mention is that DK Phobos is building up a Lincoln Sphere instead of a Scythe, and I actually really like the idea of putting Lincoln's buff on either Magnus or a second one on the Medusa, so that the single target effects just can't impact him. But you will see how he uses it once he does complete the recipe here.
Yeah. It looks kind of... It's almost like they're preparing for the refresher on Doom so that they can Lincoln's buff the core heroes and not just let him throw easy Dooms out. So this will make their lives even easier now that the refresher still isn't here on Doom. He is, however, back up to 5,600 gold. So that window we talked about will be ending, but Doom will probably want to grab his BOTs first. And, okay, there you go. BOTs come out on Doom. That'll free up that inventory slot, and I have to imagine refresher will be his 6th item.
The triumphant warrior march to the secret shop, man. Demon Edge coming out. It's Rapier time.
Sound the alarm. We have a Rapier on the field.
Oh. This is actually 4 Anchor's best way in, is if they can kill off the Dusa and get the Divine Rapier on Ember Spirit. But it's a tall order, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Now the Blink Dagger on Shadow Demon and
Radiant's
the
top
BKB
tower is under
onto
attack.
the Spirit Breaker. Something else we haven't talked about, though, but I like the idea of pairing the Shadow Demon with Medusa, because when she hits this critical mass and gets the Rapier, you've got that defensive reset tool. If she gets really low, just throw her in a Disruption, and that'll at least buy her some time to reset.
Yeah. We saw the Grave kind of used to that effect in the last game, but the problem with that is they can still... Okay, Scandal getting picked. An opening that 4 Anchors desperately need. He does have buyback, but still finding those kind of pickoffs is how they're going to get they're back into this game, getting almost 1,400 gold off of that kill. Again, Earthshaker taking the brunt of the bounty. But, yeah, beyond that, the problem with Grave is that they can still right-click while the Medusa's at 1 HP, and that means if he has his Mana Shield active, they're just going to be tearing right through that until essentially he's just sitting there with 1 HP and 1 mana, and there's absolutely no hope for him to live a second longer than that Grave wearing off. But with the Disruption, it forces them to reprioritize their targets, kind of convolutes things a little bit, and gives Illidan a real second shot at bursting down his opponents.
Yeah, now there is a big item pickup here on the Ember Spirit. He'll go into the Monkey King bar. So now, obviously, we'll deal with the evasion of Medusa quite nicely, and he's starting to hit pretty hard. This is where that Sleight of Fist has the potential to do some serious work in these upcoming team fights. Aegis about halfway to expiring, and it doesn't look like the Anchors will get too aggressive. They seem pretty satisfied with that one pick they found, and everyone will just go back to passive farming. Trixie pretty close to his Aghanim Scepter, so that Poison Nova will hurt in this next team fight. He is level 16, so... something to keep in mind. There is no pipe on VP.Polar, and I think that's probably something Go Black should look towards picking up next if farm allows, because that will help mitigate a lot of that damage.
Yeah, most definitely. But I think the pickup of the Monkey King bar and Matumba Man actually enables them to take a fight without dooming the Medusa. If he just right-clicks down with his Monkey King bar, gets a couple of good crits out, the Butterfly obviously not enhancing Illidan's survivability, there's a chance they bring him down without the Doom. On top of that, of course, they needed to focus the Doom on the Magnets, because if Scandal gets off one, if not even two, if he gets off a single good RP of the 2, then there's no way 4 Anchors take this. They'll have to buy back. They'll be setting themselves further and further behind. It's going to be on Matumba Man here in this DD rune that is going to pop soon, whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, here we go. Not a lot of buybacks available. Only one on the Dire side, and it's the Venomancer. Illidan will start chipping at the tower, and he's doing more than chipping right now. He's going hard on it. No glyph quite yet. They'll clean up the illusions. 1,000 crit from Matumba Man. He has a double damage rune on, so this may be a time where VP just want to back it on up. They will utilize the defensive disruption to make some illusions here, and even the illusion's doing decent damage to this tower. And it'll basically fall before the glyph comes out, or before they have like this. I'm not articulating well, but what I'm trying to say is there's no good opportunity to glyph here.
Oh, what is this? Oh, so passive right here. They just keep on going and slow sieging with the defensive disruption, and they keep on putting Lincolns on top of Illidan. Whenever his pops, Puck puts his Lincoln's effect onto Illidan and makes sure they always have a way of negating that single target disable. Beyond that, they keep the Empower buff onto the Deuce in case the Full Engage does come through, because obviously he is hitting hard right now. 650 right-click damage per shot, and that's 80. That's with the split shot active. That's already taking away 20% of the potential damage.
Yeah, that's insane. He really is. He's at critical mass. They are going to come up, continue clearing out the creep wave. Compliments of Matumba Man. Gale will connect onto the Medusa illusions, but they're just doing slow siege damage to this tower, and they're in no hurry. Aegis of the Immortal still has... it has despawned now, never mind. So they are okay, but they're still in no hurry regardless. Medusa's 6-slotted, so they'll be happy just to sit back and do this all day, and every wave, if they can do 50 damage to the tower, that is going to be this tower dead.
Yeah, Uphill Mist kind of thwarting the Medusa a little bit, but in the end, the Tier 3 falls, and the base is open. Now, the bottom lane has been pushing in gradually this entire time, but I don't see any backdoor plays coming in from 4 Anchor. It just doesn't seem viable. Maybe an Ember Spirit could BOT with a Remnant left in his own home base to try to force a TP back, but as far as actually taking the racks, that's not happening. The fight is here now, and whoever emerges will essentially be the victor with the Rapier in hand.
Yeah, definitely so. As 4 Anchors are still all turtled up. Virtus Pro continuing to be very slow and steady. Now they'll just kind of rinse and repeat. More illusions will come out, and they'll press towards the ranged barracks, I would imagine. Go for some sure damage, and Oh man, this is cheesy, but just look how much damage the illusions do to Trixie. Just that's just illusions.
Yeah, he really needs to go Scepter on top of the Ags, but he can only afford one or the other, as well as buyback. He has to choose pretty much one of those 3 options, and neither one puts him in a good spot. The creep wave is demolished immediately. Boogie is running low on mana, just trying to keep the Fisher spam going, but this is, I mean, it's stalemate mode. Right now, VP.Polar have no reason to take a risk further, and 4 Anchor Smash have no choice but to try to hold it. It's really, I don't know. This is a difficult position for 4 Anchors, but Polar are pretty casual about it, I think. It's a low-stress environment for them.
Yeah, they're playing it right. I mean, like you said, there's no incentive to do anything than what they're doing right now. If they lose the Rapier, that'll be the one-way ticket for the Dire side to get right back in this game. And off to the side. Oh, Jesus. Now we'll see the Skewer back into the RP, and that'll catch. Well, 2 on the Dire side. A lot of buybacks coming out. They're all getting dropped. They'll buy back straight away. All of the buybacks utilized now. 4 heroes up. And, well, VP.Polar will be okay with that. And they'll say, well, that was a pretty cost-effective exchange. Let's just reset.
Absolutely insane there. The initiation, they tried to go onto the Magnus, but he's got that BKB. Just shuts him down entirely. I think he even pulled some people out of the base with that reverse polarity. In the end, they get a lot of great buybacks out, and 4 Anchors, they really don't have a choice but to try to take opportunities like that, but they are not feeling good about this state of the game. The graphs are going to keep favoring VP.Polar. The Medusa's only going to get bigger. She's got 6,700 gold stacked up right now. BOTs and buyback is perfectly viable right now. She can start stashing rapiers if she wants to. Like, it's just absolutely insane how big she can get.
Yeah. Is there any kind of an I guess you can go to BOTs off the phase boots. That's the next obvious choice, which she'll do straight away. Still 5,000 gold to spare. I guess stockpiling rapiers really is the best bet here. There's nothing that you would obviously want to replace. I think the Lincolns is still pretty core. The Manta Illusions came in more than handy there. Everything else she basically needs. So that way, if she dies, at least that's your insurance policy. You've got a rapier just to pick up and do it to him right back.
Yeah, I think if they pick up another Lincoln Sphere, then she can sell hers. But for now, it's pretty core for her to keep it and just to maintain. They're going to go right down the mid lane, though. The tier 3 will take some hits on bottom, but not enough to really force any concern. And actually, they get the charge on Boogie. He's got the blink, but it gets put on cooldown by the Dream Coil. A very nice pickoff, and without buyback, there's no turtle left. The racks are gone.
Yeah, now Jerax gets initiated on, but will force that to the high ground. Illidan goes up to the high ground now as well. Scandal comes in. RP onto Volix. That's a dead Doom. He doesn't have a buyback either, and this should just be your GG push. That'll be the way it ends. VP.Polar will finish off the barracks. Glyph is still available on the Dire side. And Glow Black will go off to the side and try to find Trixie. And won't be able to find the kill. We'll just settle for cleaning up some wards. But yeah, it looks like we could be near the end here. Blaze, Doom in the grave for a minute and a half. I'm surprised that VP.Polar are not going for this.
I mean, right now, Roche getting Aegis on Medusa, perhaps, is going to be, like, the game breaker guaranteed. But, yeah, I definitely agree. If they wanted, like, one lane of racks, they definitely could. Now that they're already broken through backdoor protection and already gotten on the high ground, so that the cleave isn't as big of a threat from the Ember Spirit. But safe play, as always. They definitely have no reason to take risks in this game. And they're going to play it just as clean as can be, getting the Cheese and Aegis up.
Yeah, so Aegis goes to Scandal. Cheese will go to the Shadow Demon. Unfortunately, the Medusa couldn't really decide to drop any items. I guess all this stuff.
He doesn't need it. He's got BOTs and buyback. Like, he's got his second life.
Yeah, that's true. And 8,500 gold. So we may see him want to pick up a rapier on that courier. But now Virtus.Pro head towards the base, and there is still a Glyph standing, so this is the final hold for the Dire side, but they'll take out Roshan. Doom's still down for 30 seconds. Trixie comes in, connects with the Poison Nova. Go Black charges forward. They'll find Trixie. He'll get bashed, and should be a dead Venomancer. The mech will buy him some time, but that'll be the end of the Aegis. Now Boogie comes in with the dunk onto Illidan. He takes out the tier 3 tower. The Glyph comes out. DK Phobos in the front lines. Illidan with just too much life to spare, as they will be repelled. Searing Chains come out. VP.Polar will lose their Shadow Demon, but they also lose the bottom lane of barracks, or at least the ranged racks. Melee still standing. Illidan on the run. Will they be able to bring him down here? He gets hit by the fissure. Now Boogie comes in. Stone Gaze is finally used. There's your RP, and this will be the end of the Dire side. They get cleaned up as Boogie survives for just a few seconds with the Ghost Scepter. It's just Volix. He's respawned. The BKB will maybe keep him alive. Yeah, it looks like it, but That's it. They still can't bring down the Medusa. The cheese
didn't even get the chance to cast one Doom. Like, we're talking all about this refresher orb stuff. He can't get in position to even use a single one of his major disabling ultimates. They take the racks. It's going to be GG in a moment here. It was kind of Swarm Host versus Swarm Host for the stalemate in the mid for a while, but now we see 4 anchors. Their base is broken. Their resolve diminished, and there really is no moment of victory for them. There is no potential win unless the Rapier is in their clutches, which Illidan, it's over his dead body.
Yeah, literally. I mean, just look at him here. He's just trucking the barracks. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the rest of his team going for the fights. Doom will come out onto Scandal, but he has no RP anyhow. He's already used it. No refresher either. They will go hard onto the Doom. Lil will buy himself some time with the defensive disruption. He'll be able to live, and it's all a distraction as Illidan does secure the Mega Creeps, and they'll get a constellation kill on the Shadow Demon. And that is going to be it. Maybe they'll hang in for one last team fight, one more Hail Mary, but Mega's on the field. They do not have an easy way to deal with them. No Medusa on their side, and Ember Spirit, however...
Desperate Rapier for approximately 3 seconds.
Yeah. I was just going to say, that's noble, but now Puck gets one, and GG.
Puck Rapier imbalanced. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what a game. What a set of games today. Only 3 with a long break, but... lots of Dusa action, and making these games interesting. I like the Dusa mostly because it's encouraging the Rapier pickups, and boy, are they just a barrel of fun.
Yeah, so much potential with that kind of a build-up, but it really does make the game on an edge of a knife. Either that Stone Gaze gets off or it doesn't. It really is a major cooldown that prevented most of the fights that 4 Anchor were trying to set up. So a bit good of Illidan to position himself always very carefully, had the right item progression, and used his ultimate right when it counted. So overall, Virtus Pro, they take a slow, they take a careful, but they take an effective win here.
That's it. So that will wrap up our coverage today, guys. We'll be coming back tomorrow for plenty more Starladder EU action. We're now in the home stretch. There are 5 days left. And then this group stage will be ended, and we'll know the top 4 teams that will be moving on to the grand event, the LAN finals in Kiev, where the money is for Starladder Season 10. Well, we're done for today. I'm Zyori, joined by Blaze. Thank you so much for joining us. VODs are already up. If you didn't watch the second game, I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube. There's a Reddit thread about it. It is worth a watch. It was a nail-biter till the bitter end, and hopefully we'll see you guys there. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.